Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over some uranium information or news that they have on Twitter. I'm going to talk about all of this information, give you my opinion on it, and we'll go through it together. What I've got here is Macron calls for 14 new reactors and nuclear renaissance. This is France. The French president, Emmanuel Macron, however you pronounce it, called Thursday for a renaissance for the country's nuclear industry, saying he wanted up to 14 new reactors to power the country's transition away from fossil fuels. Why can't he be running our country? Because that is a smart move, in my opinion. It says, we have to build today is the renaissance of the French nuclear industry because it's the right moment, because it's the right thing for our nation, because everything is in place, he added. Someone, I guess, has to be sane and build a reliable, emissions-free, safe, high-energy return solution. And if he doesn't do it, I'm sure he's going to probably have to put these in place and generate power and electricity for Germany and then sell a whole bunch to Germany. That's probably my guess. Art Hyde says, wow, if France can achieve this, given other recent new build announcements, I think it's safe to say that the WNA reference scenario is now irrelevant, and we can clearly trending towards the high case. 2021 reference case had 5 French new builds. High case had 9, and now he's calling for 14. So a lot of things were hinging off of a lot lower projections of nuclear builds. And now we're seeing a lot more countries come out and saying, hey, we're going to build a lot more than this. So this is very bullish for uranium in general, and it is now exceeding a lot of our high calls. We'll call it, we've got like a base case, a worst case, and a best case. It's beating our best case scenarios for the demand of uranium. So we can see a lot more demand based off of all these new reactors that are coming out, and they're all breaking the high-end estimates. Looking at this, is our uranium twit community needs to start reflecting on this and the impact on commodities, especially pound uranium. If a military conflict erupts, this is complicated. Thoughts, and he's talking about how Biden urges that Americans should leave Ukraine right now. And he's just saying that there could be ramifications if a military conflict erupts and how that could impact uranium, oil, and other commodities. Looking at the left-hand side here, it says Kazatomprom's take on the supply-demand dynamics for pound uranium becomes more relevant by the day. And what they have here is, given both conventional and unconventional demand, there might not be enough guaranteed supply for everybody. What that means is a deficit out there in the future. We are running deficits at the moment. We'll see where inventory ends up. But it looks like Kazatomprom is holding a similar viewpoint to mine, where, you know what, there might not be enough supply out there. And getting this stuff online is not very easy. It takes a long time to get this uranium mines up and running, all the permits, all that stuff. So there could be a gap and a large increase in price, depending on how fast we can get these mines going. John Quakes says, yes, Cameco contracted 30 million pound uranium in 12 months of 2021. And it contracted 40 million pounds in just 1 month of January 2022. But that's just a drop in the 1.4 billion pound bucket of uncovered contract demand out to 2035. This signals that a new contracting cycle is just starting. This is when things get really interesting. This is where you go long and you forget about your position and just ride it. We've got Cameco putting all these pounds on contract. And then we've got Kazatomprom saying, well, you know what? There might not be enough guaranteed supply for everybody, guys. So now it's going to be a race to whoever can get the contracts, get their nuclear plants under contract as fast as possible. It says, nuclear power increasingly popular as energy costs, supply chain issues mount under Biden. The numbers don't lie, said Senator Tom Carper, Delaware Democrat and chairman of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. Nuclear energy is by far the largest source of reliable, clean energy in our country, generating over half of our nation's carbon-free electricity. And I think what's going to happen here, guys, is people are going to start to figure this out. everyone on the channel, at least if you've been listening to a lot of my clips, I'm saying that I don't think we can go to the renewables. There just isn't enough minerals out there to go to the extent that they want to go to. So they're going to be forced to find other options. A less mineral intensive energy source is nuclear. And nuclear and uranium, obviously, uranium's the feedstock for it. They're going to have to go to that option if they want to remain emissions free. They're going to be cornered into, they're going to be backed into a corner saying we have to go nuclear. Doesn't matter what the cost is. So what I've done is I've just gotten to nuclear before the uranium companies before a lot of the other people get there. That's the whole point of investing, is to get there first and then wait for everybody else to show up. Also, the mineral costs are going to start going up in an inflationary environment. Commodity prices are going to start to rocket higher. They're going to be distributed based off of the cost and who's willing to pay those higher costs. Unfortunately, this is going to unprice the renewables out. It's going to price all the renewables out. So nuclear is going to be sitting at a pretty good spot, I think, from a multiple perspectives or multiple angles that you look at. So go nuclear, keep it rolling. We've got the uranium uncovered requirements, utility uncovered requirements are coming up. This is the non-U.S. utilities and U.S. utilities. This is the 1 million pounds of U3O8. We are over 1 billion pounds coming up by 2035, and this is what this looks like coming on up. U.S. utilities kind of jumps up more rapidly, then the non-U.S. really starts to pop higher. So we've got a lot of uncovered requirements for uranium coming up between now and 2035. This is what Cameco says. So we've got, I'm just going to go back. We've got kazatomprom coming out saying there might not be enough guaranteed supply for everybody. Then you've got Cameco coming out in there saying the uranium market fundamentals are the best ever. We've got the producers to the uranium customers. And it says durable demand, decarbonization and electrification, ESG focus creating electron accountability, traditional demand improving near, mid, and long term, and then non-traditional demand, SMRs and advanced nuclear reactors. Demand from financial investors driven by intrinsic value of clean energy uranium. I agree there. The uranium customers, the risk is shifting to the customers, not the producers now. There's uncertain supply. Low prices caused a supply curtailment, end of reserve life, and lack of investment in supply. COVID and global supply chain challenges have presented itself on the supply side. The origin risk, geopolitical and trade policy issues, and the development risk, unproven assets, cost inflation, and schedule delays from COVID and global supply chains, increasing regulatory and ESG scrutiny, and inflation. I agree with all of this, and they're saying that it's the best ever uranium market fundamentals. Moving on here. These are some of the last slides I've got here. It says domestic uranium production report, the quarterly. It says fourth quarter 2021. The U.S. production of uranium concentrate in the fourth quarter of 2021 totaled 9,978 pounds. That's only 10,000 pounds of uranium's been produced in fourth quarter. It says though the fourth quarter 2021 production is 88% higher than the third quarter total, it is 98% lower than the 2015 to 2019 5-year range for the fourth quarter. This quarter's production occurred at 3 facilities. It's the ISR project and Ross CPP in Wyoming and the Crow Butte operation located in Nebraska. This is the uranium concentration production in the United States from 96 to fourth quarter 2021. We're down here producing basically nothing versus what we've produced in the past. It's literally gone to nothing. And then what I've got here is a chart. This is the uranium chart in relationship to the NASDAQ. We've got a nice channel going up over time from 2020 May all the way till today, and we're at the bottom of that channel, which means that uranium's most likely going to outperform the NASDAQ. We're going to see a pullback in the NASDAQ. We're going to see the uranium price move on higher, and then eventually I think we'll break this channel to the upside in a drastic move to the upside. But that's what I've got for today and what I thought was quite interesting. Basically, what I wanted to cover is Cameco, kazatomprom. They think that this is the best market that they've ever seen in terms of the fundamentals and the supply demand. I wanted to make sure that you guys know that a whole bunch of uncovered requirements for contracting is coming up. So we are coming into we'll call it the squeezy type period, where I think people are going to realize that we've got a lot of demand and not enough supply to cover it. What that means is that we squeezy the price higher. So that's what I've got for today, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the information for the nuclear. I'll probably do this every weekend and get you guys updated on what's going on. Give me a thumbs up for the content. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.